Darth Vader, Luke Skywalker, Harry Potter, Voldemort. What do these people have in common? They are rivals. STI EVO. Go! I am playing the role as a buyer who is buying a rally car, either the STI or the EVO. Now, these guys are going to try to pitch their car to me, and I'm going to try to make my unbiased opinion. Now, he's doing the EVO 10, and he's doing the
VA STI,
which is the
2015 to 21.
As of 2025, how much is the STI?
Gentlemen, in the year 2025, a decently modest mile, 50 to 70,000 mile used STI, talking about an average of $20,000 to $23,000.
$20,000 to $23,000. Now, I'm not going to say if that's good or bad because I have no idea what the EVO 10 cost.
So, I was actually going to say the same thing, but there's a catch. It's called EVO tax.
What is EVO tax?
Are you familiar with EVO tax, Ty?
I'm familiar with a drift tax, a bro tax, a GTR tax.
It's basically a hidden tax, which basically makes these cars inflated due to high demand. This is a car that, I was looking at it fresh out of high school. A lot of people are looking at these cars out of high school, but I think they didn't make as many Mitsubishis.
That is very correct. They made up to 10 times more the amount of STI.
A lower amount of these cars compared to the STI.
This is a long way to say your car's more expensive.
Yeah.
Basically, it's more expensive.
By how much?
A couple thousand more probably than what he would say. So like
2,000 more?
I guess so. Like EVO tax would probably be like 2 to range 2 to 5.
So can we say they're like in the same price range, and EVO would run me closer to 25-30 rather than 20?
Yeah, depending on I guess that's fair. Yeah, that's a fair statement.
Lower end of 20,000, higher end of 20,000.
All right.
Yeah.
So price wise, the STI is starting to win, but be real here. I'm paying for the power. I'm paying for the numbers. What kind of numbers are these cars putting out?
Stock. This car comes with an EJ 257. Boxer 4 2.5 liter turbo. From the factory, it makes about 305 to 310 horsepower, depending on the year of the generation you get.
That's a lot. All right. That actually is a lot more than I thought.
That is a lot. There's pros and cons to this platform.
Okay, instead of blowing head gaskets, you can get a...
That's one head gasket joke. I'm going to count. I knew it was coming.
Factory horsepower, 291 horsepower out of a 4B11 2-liter turbocharged and intercooled dual overhead cam 16-valve inline 4.
Power-wise, the Subaru is taking the lead. Mm-hmm. Now, not torque-wise, but what are these torque numbers looking at? Because as they say, horsepower sells cars, torque wins races.
291 foot-pounds out of this EJ 257.
It's only 10 torque less than the horsepower rating.
Roughly, yes.
Which is actually really good for a four-cylinder. Most four-cylinder cars, they're like, horsepower numbers will be, let's say 200, and torque numbers will be like 140.
150, yes.
Yeah, torque numbers for the EVO 10.
300.
So the EVO 10 makes more torque weight-wise. This really isn't going to matter unless I know weight.
Right. The weight of an EVO 10, 3,500.
How much is a Subaru?
The STI weighs in at 3,386 pounds.
Basically
so
like
more power,
120.
Less weight, better power to weight.
Better power to weight has more torque though. Mm-hmm. But at the end of the day, these numbers are still very, very close.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
0 to 60, quarter mile, top speed times.
I didn't take the lowest number. I didn't take the highest. Mm-hmm. I took about what I saw the most.
Okay.
4.8 seconds, 0 to 60.
Really?
Running a 13.1 quarter mile at 104 miles an hour.
Really?
Decently impressive, wouldn't you say? Oh, there's a fucking ghost in the corner. There is a ghost in the corner.
So 0 to 60 and the EVO ranges from... So they have 2 different transmission types. Mm-hmm. So it was ranging from 4.8 to 5.2.
You can't get the EVO in both the manual and the automatic,
auto,
right?
Yes.
However, in the STI, it is the only option in a manual.
Interesting.
The WRX came with automatic.
What's the quarter mile times of the EVO?
Quarter mile is 13.8 at 101 miles per hour.
Wow, that is significantly slower
0.7
than the STI. So at the end of the day, the STI...
Proving power to weight is a little more important than torque.
The STI is lighter, has more power, 10 less torque, but is significantly quicker. And it's cheaper. Why should I buy your more expensive and slower EVO?
Reliability.
Really?
Blown head gaskets.
Anything else?
Blown head gaskets.
Anything else?
More blown head gaskets.
Anything else?
All right. The most common failure, the AYC pump has failed once or twice. People like it's just a pump failure, and then they replace it.
It's just a simple pump replace. You know how much these things go for?
Those yeah.
$2,000.
$2,000.
That's no simple failure.
$2,000. Okay,
How
hold up.
often
Let
will
me
these
see.
fail?
Hold up. Let me see.
I want him to tell you the truth because I did my research.
On his car? Mm-hmm. What is the pros of the STI that the EVO simply doesn't have other than cheaper, quicker?
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
What are these cars made for?
Rally.
These cars are built for rally racing. Do you like winning or losing?
What's the question?
Let me ask you that question for you. You like to win, correct?
Yes, I do.
Okay, what if I told you that one of our platforms here, during the span of 7 years, won 6 rally championships
6
out of 7 years?
What?
Holy shit.
Subaru with the VA STI won the Rally America Championship 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, and 2021. Are you familiar with Travis Pastrana? Travis Pastrana did not race in EVO. There was never a Lancer Evolution 10 in Gymkhana, was there?
Coming back to that.
Okay, going back to the AYC.
So yes, it is expensive to replace, but they have a $400 relocation kit, which will.
It fails because of the location.
Yes.
How likely is this to fail?
Once in its lifetime, up to like 80 to 100,000 miles, probably at least once, definitely.
Definitely once. So
Definitely once. Some people had it twice.
All right, so this part will fail.
It's probably gonna fail.
Okay.
If you want to be unique, you want to be a little different. I see a lot of STIs. They sound like shit. Another thing, I think this car is probably more reliable. Yes.
How much power can the engine, transmission, differentials hold before I have to do a major replacement? What is the first thing to fail when it comes to power?
This EVO transmission blows.
Which one, the manual or the DCT?
The manual.
So I saw people were pushing 550 wheel horsepower out of this fucking thing.
I'm so glad you said that. If you go about over 500, that's when you have significant trans and drivetrain failure. I'm talking differential. I'm talking transmission.
I have two options as a consumer. I can buy a car that is fairly common and has more aftermarket support. A car that is cheaper and out of the box faster. Both cars have significant reliability problems that are not cheap. This, in my opinion, the WRX is a buyer's car. I think that the EVO is more of a builder's car. You can get a lot more power out of the EVO. So these cars are very, very similar, yet very, very different cars.
Yeah.
Almost everything about these direct competition cars are opposite ends of the spectrum.
It sounds like the dream is an EVO motor and a Subaru drivetrain.
Yes.
The dream is actually a combination of the two. Do you guys want to have any final statements, or before I come up with a conclusion? Do you want to say anything about the competition? Do you want to argue with each other while I sit here in amusement?
I would argue that the STI is better at absolutely everything except if you're going to build a motor.
I think we should just put an EVO engine in STI.
We should put a 4G63T or a 4G11T into an STI.
Yes.
Can you name one thing that the EVO would be better at?
Just the motor, probably. The looks definitely go to the STI. I think the STI looks a lot better.
All Subarus aftermarket support is a literal black hole that never ends.
Oh, my final statement to win you over. We're sharing him right now in the relationship, and we're trying to win him over. If you want to be different, go with the EVO. If you want to build the engine, go with the EVO.
The Subaru dominates motorsports, used significantly more in car culture, things like Gymkhana.
I think we know who won.
I don't.
I do.
The WRX STI won. I want to come clean about something.
What?
I'm extremely biased. Not to him, towards the EVO, believe it or not. I went into this trying as hard as possible to not be biased, and I did a good job because I picked the STI. I think the EVO looks better.
Wow.
Without question.
Wow.
I think the VA WRX looks horrible, by the way.
Whoa!
I mean, I think that car is ugly. Like, flat out ugly. I just want to point that out. I think that car is ugly. You did a horrible job of selling me the car. You could have simply went...
All right.
The STI is so much harder to work on when it comes to that engine. You want to do anything to that Boxster engine, it has to come out. You want to do spark plugs, the engine has to come out.
Oh my God,
you want
really?
to do... Yes.
Yes.
Holy
you
shit.
want to do head gaskets, the engine has to come out. Also, I personally know somebody with an EVO 10. He's making over 600 to the wheel. Wow. And he's had one problem.
What was his problem?
A differential problem. his rear differential keeps exploding.
Keeps?
Keeps
exploding.
replacing it with the stock one. I don't know why.
It was something I mentioned.
This was kind of a competition on who could sell me the car better. Tyler obviously sold me the car better, but I would rather own the Evo. Listen, if you like this video and want to see more competition cars being compared to each other in a competition about cars being compared in a competition, let us know about competition cars.
Only in competition, though.
Like, comment, subscribe, get your notifications triggered. If you made it to this far in the video, say head gasket.
You don't have to.
Yes. I'm so sorry I'm late, by the way.
It's fine.
How? Bro, take some, bro. That's too much. Yes! Got me to the bathroom. Bro, looks like I got jizzed all over.
I mean, you kind of did.